Going on with you today, man? Had
What's
a
good?
had
What's
a
good?
nothing much, man. I had to wake you up, man. I had to get you up for this video, man. You watch that clip I sent you?
Yeah, man, I seen it. It was very disappointing.
Yeah,
Wow.
I was like, I watched that, man. I had to get some liquor, and I was just like, man, that was the biggest like I say display of simping and tricking I've ever seen in my life, man.
Mm.
So just to give everybody some context, we're talking about the Yada Awakening interview or podcast that they had on the Harley Initiated podcast. Oh, that shit was hard to watch, man. Yada and those guys took tricking to whole new heights up there. They had guys pulling up from all over regions of the world. Talking co-signing the tricking. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it was funny, man. My man Anton pulled up there, try to get them cats some game, but after a while, the simping was too strong on that whole podcast. Anton was like, "Man, I got to bounce, man. I can't take it, man." So, yeah, that's why when I saw that, I had to send it to you. Shout out to Antoine for trying to give him some game, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, what was your thoughts when you watched it?
I mean, when I first heard it, it started off rough, and I'm just like, look at these dudes patting each other on the back for, tricking. Like, like it's something that you're supposed to do. Like, I don't know anybody who looks at somebody else and tells them how to live their life. Like, I know people who give advice and, help people live a more prosperous life, but I mean, the path that they're trying to lead people on is just it's ridiculous. And it's just like, yeah, the whole ideology of like, oh, as a man, you're just supposed to work, 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 work. I don't care if you have to have two, three, four, five jobs. Like, yeah, it sounds good. But if you're having two, three, four, five jobs to pay for somebody, maybe you should just get rid of that person and work the one job and be cool. Like that sounds like a much better life than working four jobs to like, you know, provide for somebody else. It is ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, man. And if you're looking at the title, it's like Yada Awakening and a trick mindset. And the reason why we're saying it's tricking is because whenever you attach a financial position to your masculinity, you're not masculine. And subconsciously, what you end up doing is, man, you're pedestalizing women to a certain point where it's just like you might have got the financial component down in life, but since you didn't develop no character, your personality, you don't got no damn game, you're funny looking, you have to resort to leading with your wallet. So what
Mm.
you try to do is go out here and you try to like borderline shit on other guys because you're leading with your wallet and you use that tactic. So it might work out a little bit. It's a short term, I'll say, like strategy for guys. It never ends well, but you're trying to make it seem like you guys are these highly masculine guys, but in all actuality, you're just tricks. And you're pretty much, trying to hide the fact that you have to take this bad deal. So you're trying to pull other guys into this bad deal because, like, you're trying to. I'm saying too much. You want to jump in there real
No,
quick?
no, no.
Yeah, I
Go
saw your
ahead. Yeah,
face.
you cooking. I'm no, no. I'm listening. I'm taking it all in because
Yeah, so it's just like when guys take a bad deal, instead of them, kind of having admittance, it's like they got to develop like a YouTube philosophy or something to make themselves feel better. Because at the end of the day, like if a guy got some game and he could pull a woman into his life and she's like, "Hey, I really like you. I'm gonna go out here and go work and stuff, use my talents to help build up our household." Guys like that, they can't stand it to a certain degree. So they're not going to come out there because, that's going to look like hating. So that's like I said, they develop these strategies and be like, oh man, they're not masculine. She's going to be like talking back. The kind of just like I said, hide the fact that they got to take that shitty deal. And them guys, that got game, they could lead from any structure and stuff. So yeah, I witnessed that a lot in the YouTube space where guys always want to try to like come on YouTube and reinvent themselves and mask up like I said, their shitty deals, the bad position they gotta take. So I'll let you go ahead and cook a little bit.
no, I was just listening. You're absolutely right, man. A lot of these guys in this space, they don't have. They've worked on one aspect of life, which is any guy who promotes uh paying for everything and having your wife just stay at home, cook and clean, nurture, do all these soft things that, it sounds good for, women. Um, uh, it sounds good from like a woman's standpoint. Like, yeah, who wouldn't want somebody to just take care of everything and just sit in the house and just watch TV, and do whatever. Take care of kids if they're young. But I mean, once they hit grade school age, then, what are you doing all day? But that's a whole different point. Um, you nailed it on the head, man. A lot of these guys just have one component of life figured out, and that's the financial component. So they try to over leverage that instead of, working on themselves. And, some men are just not intellectually that capable. So, they got to resort to dealing with women who are not intellectually capable. So, what that ends up is like, hey, my woman is not capable of going to school. My woman is not capable of holding a professional job. My woman is not capable of, bringing any resources or real value outside of this household other than staying at home and making me the occasional, dinner meal, or cooking every day, or cleaning every day. Um, but I mean, these are things you can do. These are things that all men do, when they're single by themselves. They cook, they clean their own stuff. They, um, so it really just speaks volumes to the type of women that they're going after. A basic chick, may not be able to have the work professionalism. And I'm not saying, his woman is, I'm sure she's beautiful. Like, guys who really adopt this type of mindset, they go after very beautiful women, but those women generally are lacking substance intellectually. So they have to be, their only real value is staying at the home. Um, and also, a point you didn't hit on is that these men are very, very insecure. We had a panel.
Facts.
Yeah, we had a panel where I jumped on, and it was uh it was like almost like a 50-50 split, between the guys that were like, "Hey, as a man, you need to be a provider." Um, and I let them go first. I was like, "Why?" Like, and when we broke it down, a lot of the men said, "Hey, I don't want my woman going to work." The biggest issue was, I don't want my woman going to work and having a work husband. If that is not the most insecure shit I've heard, it's like, they kind of tell themselves, "Oh, I want my woman to stay home. I want my woman to not have anything. So when I make decisions, I can leverage that I have all the financial power." But what they don't understand is that when you get enough financial power and you actually strive to, reach new heights, you get into a realm of where if they split, they take half of it, and they're going to be living a great life anyway. So when you hit that, you know, I wouldn't even say millionaires, point. You can make a half a million. You can make a quarter of a million. 50% of that is still 50% of that. So what you think you have, divided by two. Because the minute that you overstep your boundaries, or you step out of line for what your basic woman who stays at home doesn't like, half of that is hers. And she didn't work for any of it.
And I like the point you bring up, because it's funny, like everybody in this space loves stats until it undercuts their stupid positions. So when they're saying like, oh, if a woman works, she's not going to be on your program. But it's like, man, if you look at that, and I know I sent it to everybody on the podcast and stuff, stay-at-home moms divorce at a higher rate. Also, if you look at celebrities that, have chefs, maids, we cover it all the time on all these panels where the women like end up leaving. Tyrese, Kevin Costner. So it's just like, if it was so like masculine to take that position, nobody would be leaving. But like you said, I mean, a lot of females know how to play that long game where, they're going to they'll play submissive for a little bit and they end up taking that stuff.
Yeah.
And one thing I never seen in my life is like when people go to divorce court and somebody's trying to, get that bread from that person, they never once mention, oh, well, let me give him a break. I don't want that much because he was very masculine and he was a good provider. You're never going to hear that shit. They're like, give me, like you said, half or more. You know what I'm saying? And then the guys are getting lawyers and they're trying to like not pay out any money. So it's just like, man, it's a dumb position. It's like everybody keeps on walking into these dumb traps. And then you said one thing else, man, that I really liked, where you're talking about like when these guys, man, sometimes you just gotta let them talk, and a lot of people don't catch on to it. But you know, like I said, we got bread, we got game. You know what I'm saying? So we operate differently. We're not insecure dudes, but we can hear it all the time because we've been like going against these dudes for a minute. This type of guys that have this mindset, they think so small of the women that they're with. And I wish women would pause and like listen to them, because it's like they almost just think their women are dumb to a certain degree, like they're incapable of doing anything. So it's almost an insult to the women they with. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely. Did you catch the part in the video where you know, they were getting so flustered? I love in the video where Anton brought up the point, like, y'all simping. And they were like, let's look up the definition of simping.
Anton.
Yeah, let's look up the definition of simping. And it said an overly excessive, you know, approach. It's like pretty much essentially pedestalizing, you know, your partner and then it not being reciprocated, which is the very definition of what they were doing. They're saying that, hey, you need to work 2, 3, 4, 5 jobs. You need to pedestalize your woman, and she needs to do nothing but nurture. And then they don't define what nurturing means. They don't define what she's doing all day at the household. They're not saying, oh, she's raising this big family and kids and stuff like that. And then Anton even combated that and said, yeah, I understand if you have a big family, she's taking care of the kids, boom, boom, boom. And they cut him off. They didn't let him finish his point. And then they moved into, well, how do you do it? What's your background? What's your situation? And he explained the situation. Hey, me and my wife at the time made and I'm quoting loosely, they made a decision to you know, while their child was young, for her to like watch the child. And then once, you know, their kid went to grade school, they get a job. But, you know, as a man, he figured out something else that worked better. And he says that he, you know, his wife is more valuable working for his business, and he can get more out of, you know, his business, or more out of his wife for their household than any employer can. And that, I respect the hell out of that, because what it shows is that he's not a one trick pony. Um, and it really speaks to leadership, because leadership, everybody loves to talk about leadership, but everybody thinks leadership is always good. Sometimes there's bad leadership, and Yada's route is completely bad leadership. Having a woman stay at the house, providing no resources in a world where women have fought so hard to be on equal playing fields. And we've seen in all professions, just about, women are just as capable as men, especially when it comes to like the intellectual things. So if you have a very capable woman, why would you hold her back? And get out of your head. You know, if you're scared that she's going to go out in the world and do better than you, then it's like that's an insecurity that you got to deal with. And maybe that's not the woman for you. If you're scared out there that she's going to find somebody better than you, that's another insecurity that you need to get over. Because at the end of the day, there's always going to be someone funnier, smarter, better looking, whatever. But your leadership and how your household runs shouldn't be dictated on your fear. That's bad leadership.
Nah, facts. You know, man, and listening to these conversations, and you hit it on the head. It's like, man, if you are truly like a good provider, see, guys think it's just providing resources. Nah, it's providing structure. It's providing, you know, intellect. It's providing like mentorship. So it's like guys that are truly like good leaders. And I like the example you used with Anton, man, because yeah, he sees a lot of like potential in Rita. That's why he married her. So it's like when a lot of these guys didn't vet right. That's what they pretty much saying. Cause it's just like,
Facts.
you're supposed to get somebody that has a similar mindset with you. So you don't have to do a lot of like training, mentorship. You don't have no insecurities because they're maneuvering the right way. So for me, it's like, and we talk about this all the time. We look for like successful intellectual women because we're successful intellectual guys. We don't have that fear. We got our shit together. So it's just like me and my wife, for example, we're both high earners. We're both executives. I'm like, man, go out there and conquer the world. I told her, man, we've been married about 20 years now. When we was like in our early 20s and stuff, I was like, hey, we're gonna go out here, we're gonna win, man. We both could shine on this
Mm.
stage. I was like, I know who I am, but I was like, hey, you're smart. You're gonna go out here, you're gonna shine too. And that's what leaders do, man. Everybody around them excels, man. We're gonna get this together and we're gonna make our life even better than that. Can I take care of everything by myself? Hell yeah. But it's just like if we both contribute to the house, that just makes it easier. So yeah, when I hearing these guys talking about like it's masculine to be doing that stuff, like you said, boiling a chick down to like a doing chores and shit, it's stuff
Yeah.
you could assign a 12-year-old in a house. It's like, man, we don't need that no more. You telling me 3 seconds. I literally like threw some clothes in a wash. You think I need somebody to be sitting around doing that?
Yeah.
When I could get a smart chick that got her stuff together and man, we could go out here and kill the world together, come home talking about like what we did at business, how we conquered in both our lanes and stuff.
But the thing is, man, I'm just coming to the realization that a lot of people are just lazy. And so
Yeah.
like the Yadas of the world, the Derek Jacksons, like I don't even see Yada as a new person. I just see him as Derek Jackson 2.0.
Yeah.
Um they run the same game. They run the cycle of pandering to women, pedestalizing the woman and saying, "Oh, she's the queen, she's this, that." And then they go around and do their own thing and they don't live that life. And the funny thing is that it always ends the same. It's going to end badly. It's just a matter of when. Like Derek Jackson's run was what, in like 3 to 5 years? I think Yada's is going to be around the same. He's just starting in this space. So, um when Anton came up there and challenged his points, all Yada did was take personal shots at somebody he didn't know. He pretty much tried to say he was oh, well, when you're wealthy like me or when you got money, and then it's just like, oh, Anton actually does have money. So
Yeah.
that point is out the window. Uh, when he tried to say, "Oh, well, just because you're married and such is married, and your mom got a second married after your father passed," I was like, "Dang, he's really going for below the
Well, did
belt."
you see the part where he's like, "Oh, that sounds like pimping"?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
See,
So it's just like what you're saying, man. It's like any time like the points are refuted as stupid talking points. Like you said, it turned personal, man. And it's like I
yeah,
gotta hurry up, get the spotlight off of me. And that's what they
yeah,
do, man. They develop these strategies and stuff because they have all these shortcomings inside, man. They struggling with
yeah,
self.
yeah, and it's just like if you seen, I would love for Yada and Anton to actually get on a neutral panel and just have a debate and have a conversation about it because I think that probably would have made. I mean, it was a good. I did like the conversation because it allowed me to see like a different mindset that's out there. I mean, I work with a lot of working professionals. I mean, everybody I work with, um, most people are married and they have two. The men have wives that and their wives make great money and they're both contributing to the household. You know, coworker of mine just bought a multi-million-dollar home, so it's just like, and that's not done on one salary. I mean, you can do it on one salary. There are millionaires out there, uh, but in the grand scheme of things and the percentage of things, it's rare. And I think anybody that accomplishes that task, should be, rewarded for that. So I appreciate Yada for, you know, being a African American man, you know, and who's made it, from his claims. Um, so I do appreciate seeing that, but what I don't like is when you're misleading somebody. And I think that there's this whole generation of youth coming up, and to tell a young brother to slave so he can support a woman, and that woman, if you're working 4 jobs, where's the intellectual stimulation you're going to have for that woman? Where's that going to come from? She's going to cheat on you. You don't give her no time. So it's a double edged sword. You can't have it all. So it's just like, I think that, people should look at the reality, understand that 1 + 1 = 2, and that 2 is greater than 1, and apply that to their psyche and understand that's how you actually grow your finances. And stop being so scared that your woman's going to leave. If she leaves you, then she's not meant for you. And you cannot buy leadership. You can buy submission temporarily, but just like anything, the cost always goes up. You give someone an inch, they take a mile. So you pay for that submission now. 5 years later, that submission is going to have a higher price because there's more time invested. So if you start off tricking, you gotta you gotta continue to trick all the way. So yeah, so this Yada dude, I guess he's new on the scene. Um, Respects to him, but it's not the way. And if he was really open to having a conversation on why his 100% providership, I think he should definitely set that up with somebody who's intellectually capable with having that conversation. I think Anton and Daniels is an excellent candidate because low key he was about to cook the shit out of him.
Yeah.
If those people didn't, if
The other tricks on the panel.
yeah,
It was a whole trick fest. I told you, man. But shout out to the young boys because the young boys ain't dumb. They like, man, we ain't listening to these old simps. Like, man, ain't nobody buying into this nonsense, man. You think these dudes got more money than Al Pacino and Kevin Costner? Hell no. Like, and them guys are getting took. Like, ain't nobody, man. One of my boys just got divorced. I told you he was around like 20 million. Me and him used to argue about the same stuff about like 20 years ago. And I was like, that ain't the way to go. You know what he did with it after? He was like, man, never again. You know, don't nobody want to pay out no money. Like, so the fact that people say this stuff is stupid. It leaves everybody in a deficit. Nobody's happy with the shit. Like I said, if you look at the stats, stay-at-home moms divorce at a higher rate. Like I said, you could easily look this shit up. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that people are saying this stuff is just crazy, man. And just to justify your shitty position that you took. You know, just admit that you have no game. You could work on that, man.
Yeah.
What we need to be asking is why you can't get the female that you selected to be under which program you select. That's the issue that we need to start asking these guys. Stop looking at what everybody else is doing. Ask yourself that. You know what I'm saying? Because if there's guys that, you know, and this is how you could tell that they're kind of haters and they're jealous of the position that they're in. Because like I told you before, man, when I was younger, I had a cousin that he always had like females taking care of him, buying him stuff, treating them good. So, you know, we kind of asked him one day. I remember one time I was chilling in his crib and a female come up there. She was like buying him outfits. And I was like, damn, man, like, what's going on? But it never clicked in my head that he wasn't masculine because, you know, he was like doing 50-50 with him. I was just like, homie got game. Like, how you pull this off? Like, I'm going that route. I want that type. I want that reciprocal type of like love. I'm bad. So it's like when these guys be saying this stuff, that's what I'm saying, man. That inner core, man, they're pissed that they got to take that deal, but they're never going to come out and say that. So that's why they got to hide it behind all these dumb little philosophies and stuff. Yeah. But it's just like when you hear them talk, they just keep on trying to mask it with leadership, masculinity, and it's just like, man, it ain't none of that. You know, like you were. Oh,
if you break it down to like just the basic science, like if a woman is attracted to you or she really wants you, she's going to do more for you than, you know, a guy trying to holler at her. Like if there's you and then there's the guy that's trying to holler at her, she's going to go with you because she's actually interested in you. And because she's interested in you, she's going to do more or she's going to require you to do less. It's two heads of the same coin. So when you have somebody who actually wants to be with you, you know, they listen more, you know, AKA they submit more, if that's the word you want. And they follow your leadership wherever it goes. Even if it's bad leadership, they'll follow it because they really want you. And that's the thing. And it doesn't always necessarily have to do with looks, but it can be like maybe you weren't blessed with like the aesthetics. Get in the gym, work on it. Like, you know, maybe you have a limitation to that, man. You know, get in them books, you know, travel more, open up your perspective, learn, understand different cultures. Like there's so many things that you can do to make yourself a better candidate for women to be more attracted to you. And these things kind of happen naturally as you progress in life if you're chasing success and you have a vision. So it's like a lot of guys want the woman that they're not ready for or that doesn't want them. So What do you do with a woman that you want, but she doesn't want you? You have to buy that. You have to purchase that. You have to trick. You have to simp. You got to do all the above. When a woman wants you, she reciprocates that energy. And I think that's the difference between most of these guys that are talking like this, being, oh, I'm a provider. I provide for everything. Yes, because you're with a woman who don't really want to be with you. She's with you for convenience. If there's a bigger trick, a bigger simp, she's out the door, my guy. You need to
Yeah,
work on
that's
your
the
game.
and that's the part they don't want to admit, man. And that's why we want to push back on this stuff, because it's just like, nah, man, get your stuff together, get a chick that likes you. Because when she likes you, man, she's coming under your program, wherever it is.
Yep.
50-50, 75-25, man. She gonna be there riding with you, man. We see females all the time that be like holding dudes down that in jail. So y'all telling me like this guy got all this stuff, like, and the females still flocking to them. You seen that dude with the photo with the guy like that was in prison? All the females was sending him money in jail that took the one photo. So it's just like, man, it shows you that money is not always the end all. Yeah, it could buy, like you said, temporarily. It might get you a little bit of submission, but a female that's coming to you at a convenience or necessity, and she sees you as a resource, man, she's out the door. 10 years when they hit that mark. When is that where you get like you qualify for half the stuff? They gone, man. We see it all the time playing out. Keep lying to yourselves if y'all want to. So yeah, that's why we wanted to give some pushback, because it's just like masculinity is not tied to no financial position. Masculinity is not about what you do for a female. Masculinity is what your achievements as for yourself.
Facts.
What you're willing to not tolerate in life. Your willingness to walk away from bad situation. That's masculinity. So these guys that's always talking about like, oh, if you don't pay for everything, she's not going to listen. You're telling on yourself. You're telling that you ain't got that masculine side to you, because you shouldn't even say nothing like that. You should be like, look, if she ain't going to do what I say or the structure that I provide and my leadership, then kick rocks. It should be that simple. You shouldn't be sitting there. Why are you trying to, what are you trying to convince somebody to be under your leadership? So you got to pay for it. Was she a mercenary? You know what I'm saying? This shit crazy, man.
Pay for hire. No, I mean, that's the thing, man. Simps, tricks, you start off like this, you got to finish like this. So it's like they took the bad deal. They're like, oh shit, I took this deal. I got to
And they scared to walk away. That's what it is.
It's not even that they're scared to walk away. They got to live with it now. So they have to justify it. And just talking about it, they don't make sense. So what they have to do is then attack men who have the style.
I gotta give you some pushback right here.
Nah. They gotta attack.
This your point. I'll give you some pushback.
Nah. They gotta attack those type of dudes who are actually getting the lifestyle that they want. And they do that by saying, oh, I'm a real man, masculinity, provider. I'm doing it. And it's just like, yeah, that's your deal. But there's a better looking dude who makes more money, who ain't got to spend it. So who's actually winning?
Okay, I can't. I don't got no pushback for that.
Nah, I know you didn't have
I just had to follow on point though, but they are also scared to walk.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of times you see the red flags. If a female don't really like you, she's showing that from the front. That's why, a lot of times these guys be talking about $1,000 dates. They're doing all the most up front. That's why he's even talking like that. Because I even heard one point on one interview, he married a chick in a week. So what type of masculine man is gonna marry a chick in a week? You know what I'm saying?
This was his ex-wife, or
I think he got two of them. So it must have been another one. So I heard that part. So I'm just like, man, ain't no guy that got game marry no chick in a week. So this is the guy y'all talking to. He's trying to give you points. He's trying to, my man literally in a week made somebody a wife. You know what I'm saying? No vetting.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
Oh, risky as hell.
So if you have a wife, right? And then you say you met a girl and married her within a week, a month, 2 months, 3 months, the risk that you just open up to your household by allowing this person to be tied to you guys like that?
Bad leadership.
He's leading you all to the end. Like, and I love how these type of guys, he's Derek Jackson 2.0. I swear, he's Derek Jackson 2.0.
Oh, he worse.
Yeah, because if he has two wives, then that's on some, that's funny, because not only does he pander to black women and they're the queens and stuff like that, he's like, hey, I need two of you guys because one is not enough. Wow, that just tells you the
But
state.
see, I'm not even against the poly thing, but it's just like what you was outlining. It's like, man, if you do that in a short period of time, no vetting, like you're putting your own family at risk to chase your desires. So you're going to try to hide behind like the whole marriage concept and stuff. But really, you're just a dude that's like a trick and you're chasing your desires out. And you don't really like you could possibly sabotage your family by making these like rash movements without vetting out the person. So that's why I'm saying, man, you could spot a con. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So when I go
Yeah,
ahead.
I'm just gonna say, nah, you're right, man. I'll just say we as Black people have to do better. You know, we got to stop getting calmed by these little short gimmicks. Like what he's living is a life that's unsustainable. I don't even have to go too much further into it. I would just love to see his situation in 10 years from now.
Nah, man, I wish him the best, but
I do too. I do too. I just know that.
my biggest thing is just, man, I hate when guys like, if you have to take that deal over there and you're a trick, man, just do your thing. But it's just like, man, if you see guys, man, because I know some fly dudes, man, they women out there, man, they thinking about how they could benefit the household. They're like, shoot, we bring this money to get, that's more that we could go, like we could get a vacation home, we could invest in real estate. So they're not even operating like that. And it's just like you said, man, when these jealous dudes, man, they want to throw them shots and try to use masculinity and stuff. It's just corny, man. It's just man, you ain't got it like that. You're just not him. You know what I'm saying? You didn't get blessed with, like you said, them gifts, whatever it is, character, personality, attraction. You took that shitty deal, man. You gotta live with it or walk away, man. That's the masculine thing to do. Is like, hey, if somebody ain't following in order, man, like, peace. Like, man, here's the door. Move on. If you got it like that, but if you standing there steadfast and you living with it, then that's the lane you chose, man.
Yeah.
Be throwing shots at other people, talk about they got paid for everything to be masculine, man. That don't even make no damn sense.
Yeah.
So there's a guy that's like with a chick that's putting it in his household and stuff, and she's all on board listening to her. You just gonna ignore all that? Like that don't never happen? Come on, man. Like this stuff is getting corny on YouTube, man. All these like YouTube philosophies.
Yeah.
But all right, man. We said a lot. Yada. What was the name of that podcast? Harley and tricking. Initiated. We want to smoke. Yeah, feel free to throw some shots back. We'll take it all. But shout out to Anton again, man, for trying to school these brothers and give them some game. They wasn't having it though.
Yeah. I mean, he goes by Yada Awakening. I wish he would just stay asleep.
Yeah. Take your ass to bed. Get you some NyQuil, homie. Sitting out here spitting this nonsense. Marrying a chicken a week. What type of dude with game like would even consider that?
Yeah.
But all right, man, we out of here, man. Thanks for tuning in. We're gonna be throwing some more out like this, and hit us up. Y'all want us to break down any other topics? But all right, peace.
We out.